problem. Hold on. Okay, just bear with me. I'm trying to figure this out. Nope. No. Okay, it's just I'm having some technical problems. Just hold on, like just bear with me for a while. What, like, so you have been joining this way? I thought you would join from the schedule. Screen. Okay. Hello, everyone. Do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning. I'll be teaching the second module. I'll just start from name checking first. Okay. Kevali
มาค่ะ
ทันดนัย
ครับผม
ภูมิพัฒน์
ครับผม
632-280-7081 is it?
yes
Okay. อรยา
มาค่ะ
ปิยธิดา
มาค่ะ
ทพัฒน์
ครับ
ปฐมพร
ครับผม
พิชยา
มาค่ะ
ประกิต
มาครับ
ปฐม
พาทรครับอาจารย์ มาครับ
ค่ะนิรัชชา
มาค่ะ
เลียวลม no the 632-280-9541 okay ธีรพล
มาครับ
เมลิซา
มาค่ะ
ฮัสนา
ฮัสนาค่ะ
ฮัสนา
ค่ะ มาค่ะ
ค่ะ สัตตพงศ์ just so hard สัตตพงศ์ if I pronounce wrong just correct me okay บุญญานุช
มาค่ะ
ชนิการ
ค่ะ
ทอลาบ ต่อลาบ
มาครับ
กวิน
มาครับ
นัทธนิชา
เพื่อนกำลังเข้าครับเน็ตมีปัญหานิดนึงครับ
มานุษพงศ์
มาครับ
วิชาเนตร
มาครับ
พันธิรา
มาค่ะ
จิรายุ
มาครับ
รัฐธ รัฐธรรมนูญ It's just so hard ชดนรินทร์
มาครับ
ธนาธร
มาครับ
ธนพงศ์นัทพงศ์
มาครับ
มหิต มหิทน
ไม่ทอนครับ มาม
หิธรgosh
นัชวัฒน์ครับมา
นั
ครับ
ชวัฒน์นัชวาดนัชอะไรนะคะ
นัชวัฒน์ครับมา
นั
ค
ช
รับ
วัฒน์โอเค พีรยา no นัทพงศ์
มาครับ
ทาริน
ครับ มาครับ
วูทัน
มาครับ
วูทันวินนิวเย็น 0707
มาค่ะ
พิทวัฒน์how to pronounce
พิทวัฒน์ครับ
พิทวัฒน์เสถียรพงศ์
มาครับ
วารุธ no
อาจารย์ I think Malut cannot use a microphone, but he also in the class.
okay yeah I see him
Yes.
สิริญญา
มาค่ะ
พัชรามัย
มาค่ะ
ทิพราวี okay
ทิพย์ละวีค่ะอาจารย์
ทิพรวีโอเค พัทรพร
มาค่ะ
สุจินทร
มาค่ะ
อินทนนท์
มาครับ
สรัมภา นัทธิดา
มาค่ะ
and who just came in and didn't check the name is there anyone
อาจารย์คะเมื่อกี้เช็คพีระยาไปหรือยังอะคะ
ยังค่ะ
ขอบคุณค่ะ
แล้วก็เลียวลมมีไหมคะ no ทูเย็นyou're a guest okay just sit in right okay let's see if I can share screen I'm just getting at the hang of this somehow it just disappeared again I'm sharing already okay how do I minimize this okay so good morning everyone my name is Gasarin and you can call me Ajantap TAP I was a student in SIIT like one of the first batches and I got an MS and PhD from Georgia Tech in industrial engineering I'll be teaching the second module you guys see my screen right
yes
Yes. Okay. If at any time like it doesn't show or anything, just shout out and yeah, just let me know. And so I will be teaching for 3 weeks. There are no exams. It'll just be quizzes, assignments. It's pretty practical, easygoing. It's not as stressful. Log into Google Classroom. I posted class outline in there, and there's like a tentative schedule, which will depend on the speed of the class. I'll be adjusting. Is anyone recording this? In Young, are you recording? No.
Yes ครับอาจารย์
Yes,
I'm
yes,
recording
okay.
the session.
All right, thank you. In Young is the TA for this class. And okay, so just go to Classroom, Google Classroom. And then you'll see the post here, this one. I posted, that's the Tableau installation guideline. We'll be using Tableau. And the version that we'll use is 2020.2. So just follow the instruction. That's the link to download the software. And if you have any problems, like technical problems, just go to the TA room in the meeting and like ask In Young for help. And this is just like the product key to activate. And yeah, just download this and install the program. And then this is just like, it's a tentative schedule outline, which I will probably be adjusting as the time goes according to like what we can cover. So today is the introduction and overview, and then we will talk about 4 types of data analytics and just an overview of the Tableau. So just download, and then I think I'll just go ahead with like just briefing you on the lecture first. Then you can do the installation sometime after, like if I finish the slides or during the break. So it's just a recap because you've already learned with Ajahn Phon, right? No, Ajahn Jha. So business intelligence, this class is called business intelligence. So what is it? Let me put up presentation mode. So what is business intelligence? It's basically leveraging software and services to transform data into actionable insights. So when we talk about business intelligence, we use intelligence, which is like the software side or technology, to help us to transform the data so that we can use it for managing the business to get some insights that inform the organization's business decisions. So we want to be able to make decisions using the information or the data we get with the help of technology. That's what business intelligence is. And then we will be dealing with data analytics. Or data analysis. Data analysis or data analytics, we want the final output to be an analysis or summary of reports that are ready to read. But it's not just that, like we see that there is the output that we want, but behind the scene, there are so many like steps behind it before you get the output. An analogy is if you go to a restaurant and you want to order some food, so the output would be, for example, if you are ordering pad thai, right? Then the output would be getting the pad thai and eating it in the restaurant. But then behind the scene before you get the pad thai and start eating, there are just many steps involving you and other people as well. It's kind of like backdoor what's happening. So how do I get this? Okay. Yep. So there are many steps behind the scene. Okay, I want some volunteer, and this would be taken into like participation score, or it would just help me when I do grading. Anyone want to try to break down what you think is the process behind? Like, what are the breakdowns of the process of ordering the food? In Young, you can maybe take note of like who's participating. Okay, anyone, or you want me to pick the name? Any volunteer? No? I'll pick. Prakit.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Can you tell us like what do you think are the steps involving both the one that visit the restaurant and like backdoor? What are the steps to get the pad thai?
First, customer will maybe join the queue. Yeah, come into the restaurant, then maybe they join the queue to order the pad thai.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the customer side. What else?
Yeah, and then maybe chef will receive an order. Yeah, then they cook pad thai.
Okay. And then serving.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, there are a lot of steps involved. That's like one breakdown. So it could be that it starts from customer arriving at the restaurant and then being seated. And then does a waiter take order and then pass the order to the kitchen. And then the chef or the cook starts cooking. And then in the cooking, they could actually break it down even more, like getting the ingredients, measuring, putting in ingredients so that we can actually like detail it into many, many steps behind. So that's the start producing and then putting on the plate and serving. And that's just until like the customer gets the result. So we can see that everything involves, like we can break down into many, many steps. So let's see, anyone can help me make analogy of the steps of pad thai to like maybe about getting the output of data analytics. What do you think are the processes or steps involved in getting the data analysis result? Anyone? So I got Prakit. I'll just take note. And then in the end, we'll probably just alternate if, yeah. You want me to pick again?
อาจารย์ can you repeat the question please?
Okay, make analogy from the restaurant ordering pad thai, right? We know that there are many steps behind the scene before getting the output. Now make analogy. Think of if it's the case where we are analyzing the data. We are making a report before getting the output. What do you think are the breakdowns of the steps behind?
From
Okay, what's your name?
Piraya, so maybe break down
เดี๋ยวนะคะ ID อะไรเอ่ย
632280970ค่ะ
Okay. Okay, go on.
Maybe from how we serve customer to where the resources come from.
I want you to like make an analysis to the case of like if it's data analytics, let's say in general case that before you get the result of the insight of the things that we are looking at, what are the steps before you get the analysis?
I'm not sure I'm quite understand that, sorry.
Okay, just think of it like this. So if it's pad thai, yeah, before you get the pad thai, you have to get the information. What does the customer want, right? If you're the restaurant, the output would be pad thai. Then your input, first you have to gather the information, which is what do the customer want? What does the customer want? And then from then you have like, okay, she wants the pad thai. Now, next step, you need to think, what are the things that I need to gather? I need to gather ingredients in order to make pad thai. So you can just think of it, I don't know if I can type this. Let's say, okay, let me make another slide here. Let's say if it's pad thai, right? The result is pad thai. For data analytics, result is like some insight or decision. Okay, and then what are the steps? The first step is get information. Is like, what does the customer need? Customer want. So this is analogy is just like getting information, such as maybe we want to ask like, what are the questions we want the data to help us answer? By the way, that's no right or wrong, to like the answer is just like provoking your thoughts process. And then, yeah, for going back to pad thai, it's like, now you have the question as in, what are the things, what's the thing that you need to do, right? Then you need to think of, what do I need to get what customer want? Right? So this would be like, what are the ingredients? What are the steps to do it? Now for data analytics, it would be what information or data do we need to gather to be able to answer the question, right? And now going back to pad thai, we have to start cooking. So then analysis or data analytics is start manipulating the data and perform analysis. Now then we get to the result, which is pad thai, and then for data analytics, we get the insight or the report. So this is just like the analogy of, making comparison between two cases and try to think of like how they are related. Uh, okay. So yeah, from what I said is like if we break down the data analytics report into steps, we would see that the output of final steps is the report with summary and insights. And then the steps that are required to get us there is first information, like we have to gather information or data. But there's actually a step before this that is asking what is it that we really want? What's the output that we want? What kind of question are we trying to answer? And then we gather information, what is the data? And for gathering information, we have to extract the information or data from different channels or different sources. And we would get like a bunch of different data. Some would be useful, some might not be useful. And we have to then manipulate or work on the data in order to like make it in the orderly process that we can do analysis on. And then we do data visualization, which is like making visuals to help us do the analysis. And we start making the analysis. Then we come up with the conclusion. So these are the breakdowns of the steps to get data analytics report. So what will we talk next is we'll talk about a bit about smart visualization analytics levels. There are 4 levels to analytics. And then we will discuss the value and difficulty of different levels of analytics. And we'll discuss about Tableau software and Tableau Public. Okay, so from the chart, you see that that's like the smart and visualization. So visualization is the picture, just any visuals, and then the brain, which means either human or AI. So it needs to work together, like the visual will be used or interpreted by the AI or human in order they combine to make smart visualization, which is like the tools that allow users to gather various data components and then tell a story. In order to make the analysis result that is perceivable and useful, we tend to have to think of it in terms of story. When you go to present to like your boss or the organization or the customer, the best way to present the data is to tell a story. So revealing results in this manner, like to make it into a story, would be easier for business users and organizations to identify the cause of a problem, to see the trends, and patterns, and to find the nuggets of information that will provide competitive edge. So we are using the data, the insight, in order to make decisions that will provide competitive edge to the company or to the business. So yeah, so like by performing smart visualization, it will allow the users to find and highlight the story that would be useful. So the second topic is the different levels of analytics. The first level is descriptive analytics, which analyzes to know what is going on. Then next is diagnostic analytics, which will continue analyzing what happened and why. So by diagnostic, it's just like when you go to the doctor, he's trying to analyze what is causing the symptoms. So descriptive is like checking what's happening when you're sick, then you know what your symptom is. So that's like describing to the doctor how sick you are. That's descriptive, right? And then diagnostic is to find out the reason why, what happened and why. And next is predictive analytics, is like thinking what else can happen or what will happen in the future. So if we compare to like the sickness, it would just be like, oh, if you don't treat it, how worse can it get? How sick can you get more? Or if we treat it the right way, how long would it take to recover? So that's like predictive analytics. And then prescriptive is just like the word prescribe, just like when the doctor is prescribing medication or treatment, what should be done to correct the problem? So it involves like doing some analysis of like what will happen if this medicine is prescribed, what will happen if we choose this strategy, and so on, and then come up with the right solution. So that's what prescriptive analytics is. So it's 4 levels. This chart just like recap what I have discussed about. We start from the first step is descriptive analytics, is trying to explain what happened. And then from there, we would think back, why did it happen? And this would be part of diagnostic analytics. And if we talk about the future, like what will happen, then that is predictive analytics. Then prescriptive analytics is how can we make it happen? Okay, someone else want to volunteer and discuss and share, like what do you think is, how are they different in terms of difficulty and the value? Want me to choose? Thilapon. Hello? No? Is Thilapon here? Do you guys hear me? Inyo?
Yes ค่ะ
Okay. Is Tirapon here? If I call your name and you're not here, then you're missing. Like maybe it's like missing attendance. Shanikan.
ค่ะชนิการค่ะ เมื่อกี้ที่เราเป็นไมค์มีปัญหานะคะ
Oh, okay. Okay. Shanikan, can you share with us what you think, like, how, like, each of these four, how are they different in terms of difficulty and the value?
I think descriptive analysis is like a current situation in my opinion, and for dialogue is like the cause
Okay.
of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
For the predictive, I think that it's like a predict or forecast the situation in the future, and for that prediction, how can we deal with that situation that may occur in the future? That is a predictive, in my opinion.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I want another person. Gawin. Okay. Which one do you think is easiest and why?
I think descriptive analytic
Yeah. Why?
because it just what happening. You don't really have to analytic anything deep.
Okay. And which one has the highest value?
I think prescriptive analytic.
Yes. Okay. Because it's the solution, right?
Yeah.
And then it's also the most complicated. Thank you. What's your name? Gavin. Okay. Okay, so we talk about the timeline. That would be sort of like past and present that we are dealing with, and then the future dimension of the time or data. So descriptive usually we deal with like past data. Sometimes it's like immediate past, which we can consider as present. Diagnostic is also related to the past or present as well. But predictive and prescriptive is more in terms of the future. So if we talk about the algorithm or like the industrial engineering side of like what you have been studying, descriptive analytics will deal with canned reports or the data from the past, which like we say canned because it's already happened and it's frozen. There's nothing that would change. It's just like packaged in a can. And this would help us to be able to determine what happened. Or if we are talking about like present or more like immediate past, like kind of like a shorter past that is closer to the present, then it would be ad hoc reporting of what's happening, how many, when, where. It's just like not, it may not be canned reports, but it's just like reporting in shorter time period. Now, diagnostic is trying to find out the reason why. So then you may need to come up with like questions or query or drill downs to be able to diagnose what's happened. So why did it happen? And discovery and alerts, where should we look? So these are the past and present dimension. Then predictive, we deal with the future. We can use statistical modeling, which I think you have already studied. What is the pattern? Is like time time series or like forecasting or just using some statistical model. And then what will happen next is also, predictive modeling. It's sometimes what will happen next can be in terms of numbers, that is like the forecasting, or it can be verbal forecast, like, some of like prediction, what will happen, such as maybe it will rain next month, something like that. Now, prescriptive, this is very hard, and it involves what will not be covered here, but sometimes we can use human judgment. Yeah, we can talk a bit about this. Or sometimes like you have to use like AI, which will involve like a lot of intelligence, kind of like using as a tool. And this is where like optimization would come in. You make different models of scenarios. If it's like this, if we choose this decision, what would be the result? Like making many different scenarios, and then we choose the maximum one or the best one. That's what optimization is. And or we just use random testing, just making like what if analysis also. Yeah, so this just so this is like the most valuable, because we do the present or the past in order to achieve the future decision. So that's in terms of the value, but you cannot do this. You cannot create the future without looking at the past. So this is just like the easiest and like the beginning step that you need to do in order to reach here, future. So this class we will talk a lot about descriptive analytics, but actually I want you to like always think about how do we use the descriptive analytics to derive or arrive at predictive analytics, which we may not need like sophisticated artificial intelligence, which is like conceptual or logic and some of the research and discussion to reach like what should be the prescription for this problem. Okay, so let's look at some example. No, actually I was just, okay, this is just example. So descriptive analytics is involving the past and present data used to understand what the company or market is undergoing. Example, like from the marketing side, would be spreading data or reports to see how sales of products this month are compared to previous month. And so if sales fall this month more than every month, then it suggests that there is something to be fixed before the end of the month. So descriptive will just help we be able to identify what is happening and just sort of like suggesting where we should put our attention to. And if sales increases abnormally, then we would also want to know why, so that we can maybe use this to be able to increase sales in the future as well. So use the data to find out why, what is causing it. So in a nutshell, the descriptive analytics is used to find signals that are abnormal from the previous periods, compare different groups of customers or branches or various selling channels. It helps to understand past performance and evaluate what should be done in the present or future. So this is just like an example of the dashboard from Tableau. For descriptive analytics, we have to ask questions such as, like while we are doing the analytics, we have to ask questions such as, what was it like? Anything abnormal? Why or what happened? How can we use this knowledge to improve? So that's the descriptive analytics. Next is diagnostic analytics, which is trying to answer questions such as why did it happen? By using the result in the descriptive analytics to explain, to find out why. So to be able to do diagnostic analytics, you need to be creative, ask questions and try to find answers from the data. You may need to create more tools to get more data, such as survey, questionnaires, interviews. Just keep asking why, and why. So example is hair dyeing in March and April. That was like a person that does the survey, and he found out that so the first step, if we go to the first step, is just trying to see what happened. So if he's looking at the data of hair dyeing, then ask the question, what happened? Then he comes up with the observation that sales of hair dyeing spike in March and April. So this is the descriptive, is describing what happens. Then step 2 is to ask, why did it happen? This is diagnostic. And then step 3 is it like this every year? So it's kind of like predictive. Is it going to be like this in the future, next year, and so on? So going back to step 1, hair dyeing spikes in March and April of 2015. Why people are interested. Step 2 is asking why people are interested in dyeing hair in March and April. And looking at just the data, maybe you are not able to answer this. So you might have to come up with like a set of questionnaires or interview to gather more information. So this person just did like online questions, walking interview, and so on. And then he observed that there are patterns in that men don't really know why, but then women and queer sex will answer, yeah, because it was like close to Songkran and everyone just, they wanted to go out and play in the water. They want to look nice. So we started they started dyeing their hair. And then, so it's useful to cross-check with the data from the seller side. Is this really true? Like, does the sale really happen near Songkran holiday, before the Songkran? So compare the customer data graph with Thai people search data, and then it was found that the two curves were like correlated. So they can conclude like a hypothesis that people like to dye their hair during Songkran. So now step 3 would be doing predictive analytics, like to know, is it going to be like this next year? So how do we do this? Maybe looking at 1 year is not enough. Maybe we look back at, let's say, the past 5 years to see, is it really always like this? And then if, yes, it's always like this during Songkran, then yeah, we could probably use this as a prediction for next year. So predictive analytics would be answering the questions as what will happen. Data is analyzed to predict what is likely to happen in the future. Predictive models can be used like time series or just like randomized, just some kind of like forecast or probability model and so on. Or simple tools such as use past graph to predict the future or seasonality. So it's logical that the more we know from the past, the more we can predict the future. So to do predictive analytics is more useful to look back into like a very long period of time, like past data, instead of just a few periods. So the data from the past is used to analyze or predict what is likely to happen in the future. So from step 2, people dye their hair during Songkran. Step 3, we ask questions. Was it like this in the past Songkrans, or is it just this year alone? So for example, if they use the graph of 5 years back and then they see that it happens on a regular basis. So this is like a seasonality in a way that it's always peak during March and April. Then we can develop hypothesis and then conclude that it's true that every Songkran period, people would definitely want to dye their hair very much. So this is the example of predictive analytics dashboard. Okay. I'm gonna have to step out for the bathroom break just a few minutes. Maybe you use this time to go to Google Classroom and then check out and start on like installing Tableau if you haven't done so. In Young, you can help if they have questions. Okay, I'll be back. Okay. Okay, go to Classroom. I posted the slides for today too. I think it's there. Is it there? It didn't launch. Okay, here, it should appear there. There's the slide for today, course introduction. This is for the morning class. And then below that, that's the, this one, that's the Tableau installation guideline. I just, yeah, we will do the Tableau later. Let me just continue with this. So next step is, now that we know the hypothesis, like, or we have hypothesized that next year will happen again with like, just like this, then now it's time to ask more questions like, so this is the next step is prescriptive, right? Logically, if we know it's going to happen next year, what do you think? I'll call up someone. What do you think? How can the seller use this information as a prescriptive analytics or prescription? Is not Tanisha here yet? Hello? No?
ฮัลโหลได้ยินไหมคะ
ค่ะนัทธนิชาหรือเปล่า
ใช่ค่ะใช่ค่ะ
Okay. Can you answer the question? Knowing that the sales for Songkran is sales for hair dyeing peaks during March and April because of Songkran. How can the seller use this as a prescriptive analytics or like as a prescription? What do you think? Tanisha. Hello?
ได้ยินไหมคะ
ค่ะค่ะไม่ได้ยินเลย Hello? ไม่ได้ยินเลยค่ะ Hello?
ฮัลโหลฮัลโหล
ค่ะค่ะ Can you answer? Is your mic not working? Okay, what can the company, like the seller, suppose that you are the company that makes hair dyeing material, colors, how will you use this information?
take a survey
No, how will you use the information that sales spike during March and April? Because it's near Songkran. Okay, who has any idea and want to share? Who hasn't shared yet? I'm collecting like as a like participation score. Anyone volunteers?
I think they can use the information to do the ordering some material for produce more product to sell in this period, and
Okay.
use the information to do the marketing campaign in this period to the
Yes. Yes, right. What's your name?
บุญญนุชค่ะ
ID อะไรคะ
809582ค่ะ
80เดี๋ยวนะ809582 หายากจัง
ใกล้ๆกับชนิการ
บัญญานุชนะคะ
บุญญนุช
บุญญานุช Okay, thank you. Yes. So we can use it as a prediction that in March and April, the sales would be increasing So we would have to like, if I was, if we were like the production company, okay, let's see, if we are the seller, like the shop, then we would plan to stock beforehand to make enough product for the, to keep enough stocks to sell during Songkran. And also, yes, we would think about how we can promote to like relate to like Songkran, you know, oh, maybe dye your hair to look nice and so on. But if I was the manufacturer, then I would have to think back, how long does it take for me to produce? If I want to sell a lot during March, how long, like when do I need to start producing for that? And then it will lead me back to thinking about raw materials. When do I need the raw materials? Do I need to stock raw materials? And so on. So predictive analytics would help us into planning and making plans towards the future. And it does not have to be sophisticated, right? If we don't have like, you know, the AI or whatever, we could just like use reasoning and then logic and just a lot of like the knowledge or synthesize like what we know. Okay, so prescriptive analytics would use what we know to find out the next best action, and just the objective is to do little but get more, like to do the more the like little work, a little investment, but get more result. Just hit the target, just like that. And then this requires a lot of data from various channels. And this would be something like known as big data, machine learning, or AI. This is an example of prescriptive analytics dashboard that it just have like, you know, if it's 26, it's just a level of something. Anonymous visitors repeat are now online. Then it has prescription as in what actions should be taken. Actions, chat with them, pop an offer. So this is just like the use of probably some software integrated with AI to come up with the prescriptive analytics like this. So in terms of value, yes, the more like we work into the future, the higher value of information or result is. So prescriptive analytics would just be of higher value than descriptive analytics. And predictive analytics is more than descriptive and so on. The information is more starting at the descriptive analytics. The value is less, the difficulty is also less, and the higher, like the further along you go, the level of difficulty increases, the value also increases. So it's just a matter of like evaluating, is it worthwhile to do this, investing a lot to get higher value? Or would we rather just not investing too much and just do like the simple earlier steps and get not as much value from the information? There's no right or wrong. It just depends on like the situation and what is best suitable. But like I said, we would focus more on descriptive analytics. But I want you to always think about how we can extend this to the future. Yeah, let's just break for 15 minutes maybe. And you can like try to install Tableau and download like the slides from Google Classroom, okay? So I'll be back around like 10:20 or 10:25 or 10:30, okay? Yep.